Today is May 1st. Today we see the man who threw Jesus under the bus. So let's read that story. It comes from John 5. Yesterday we saw that Jesus healed a man who was 38 years paralyzed, apparently, starting at the very end of verse 9. Now that day was a Sabbath. So the Jews said to the man who'd been cured, "It's the Sabbath. It's not lawful for you to carry your mat." He answered them, "The man who made me well said to me, 'Take up your mat and walk.'" They asked him, "Who's the man who said to you, 'Take it up and walk'?" Now the man who had been healed didn't know who it was, for Jesus had disappeared in the crowds that were there. Later, Jesus found him in the temple, and he said to him, "See, you've been made well. Don't sin anymore, so that nothing worse happens to you." The man went away and told the Jews that it was Jesus who had made him well, and therefore the Jews started persecuting Jesus because he was doing such things on the Sabbath. But Jesus answered them, "My Father is still working, and I also am working." For this reason, the Jews were seeking all the more to kill him, because he was not only breaking the Sabbath, but was also calling God his own Father, thereby making himself equal to God. Now, we've talked before about the Sabbath laws. Actually, in the Old Testament, there are no Sabbath laws. The only law is don't work. Remember the Lord. Spend your time on the Sabbath meditating on God. These laws don't carry your mat on the Sabbath. They're not Old Testament laws. These are Pharisaic laws. They were created to specify what kind of work you shouldn't do. Now, the whole passage hinges on verses 14 and 15. The Pharisees told the man not to carry his mat. He dropped it. He said, "It was the one who healed me." So they asked the obvious question, "Who healed you?" And the man didn't know. The man had not taken the time to ask who Jesus, who had just healed him from a 38-year infirmity, was. Jesus later finds the man, and it's interesting what he says. He says, "Stop sinning." What was the man doing? Well, the man immediately goes out and betrays Jesus to the Pharisees. He threw Jesus under the bus. You know, in the Old Testament, we have another story of a man who heard God tell him to stop sinning. That was Abel. Let's read Genesis chapter 4.
Genesis 4, New Revised Standard Version. Now the man knew his wife Eve, and conceived and bore Cain, saying, "I have produced a man with the help of the Lord." Next she bore his brother Abel. Now Abel was a keeper of sheep, and Cain a tiller of the ground. In the course of time, Cain brought to the Lord an offering of the fruit of the ground, and Abel for his part brought the firstlings of his flock, their fat portions. And the Lord had regard for Abel and his offering, but for Cain and his offering he had no regard. So Cain was very angry, and his countenance fell. The Lord said to Cain, "Why are you angry, and why has your countenance fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin is lurking at the door. Its desire is for you, but you must master it." Cain said to his brother Abel, "Let us go out to the field." And when they were in the field, Cain rose up against his brother Abel and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, "Where is your brother Abel?" He said, "I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper?" And the Lord said, "What have you done?" "Listen, your brother's blood is crying out to me from the ground, and now you are cursed from the ground which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you till the ground, it will no longer yield its strength. You will be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth. Cain said to the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Today you have driven me away from the soil, and I shall be hidden from your face. I shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth, and anyone who meets me may kill me. Then the Lord said to him, Not so. Whoever kills Cain will suffer a sevenfold vengeance. And the Lord put a mark on Cain, so that no one who came upon him would kill him. Then Cain went away from the presence of the Lord and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch. And he built a city and named it Enoch after his son Enoch. To Enoch was born Irad, and Irad was the father of Mehujael, and Mehujael the father of Meshuthalah, and Meshuthalah the father of Lamech. Lamech took 2 wives. The name of the one was Ida, and the name of the other was Zillah. Ida bore Jabal. He was the ancestor of those who live in tents and have livestock. His brother's name was Jubal. He was the ancestor of all those who play the lyre and pipe. Zillah bore Tubal-Cain, who made all kinds of bronze and iron tools. The sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. Lamech said to his wives, Ada and Zillah, hear my voice. You wives of Lamech, listen to what I say. I have killed a man for wounding me, a young man for striking me. If Cain is avenged 7-fold, truly Lamech 70-fold. Adam knew his wife again, and she bore a son and named him Seth. For she said, God has appointed for me another child instead of Abel, because Cain killed him. To Seth also a son was born, and he named him Enosh. At that time people began to invoke the name of the Lord.
Now, in both of these stories, God confronts a man about the danger of sinning. In both, the man goes out and sins. In verse 16, we're told that the Jews started persecuting Jesus as a result of what this man did. And in verses 17 and 18, it says that they now went out and plotted how to kill Jesus. So what do we do about this today? Spend time in prayer. Be aware of your own sin. Ask God to help you see your sin as He sees it. Scripture reading from the New Revised Standard Version by Emily Herrera. New Hope Church on a weekly basis uploads its sermon from the previous Sunday, just the sermon. You can find it on our YouTube channel, New Hope Church Greenwood IN, or any of our podcast channels.